in defense for his teammate. Singles out Baka. Baka down to just wood builds. They need to get some of the outskirts here. And already Chapentini secure the center of course, what will be the cache, right? All the loot that's going to go in and spawn out of that.
The capture point could be a really big advantage here for Chapentini as well. Bakapars recognize more than anything else, they need to try and rebuild their material count. Granted, Rift Island can definitely provide, at the very least, ample amounts of bricks, but that's only if they're not disturbed in the... 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 If they're not disturbed...
Stronghold on their area.
Let's watch this.
They're playing deep into the storm, and this is, again, a team that is no stranger to staying in the storm on these invitationals, on these LAN events, right? Like, we've seen it happen every single time. They almost welcome the storm, right? To stay away from the other opponents there.
Cammy and Seti, they were probably cheesing the moment that they found out the hover jets wouldn't be an option for players, because everyone knows, historically speaking, they perform incredibly well, if not possibly even best, during these no mobility or low mobility metas. So it comes as no surprise, really, they were able to find their surge damage, a little bit to work with at least, dead-side rotations, but Malabuka Mustache, jam-packed action potentially here at Restored Reels, finding some decent shots. But more important aspect still is that Casper and Prism are under some heavy pressure. Those Storm Surge tags trickling in now might cost them all their splashes.
82 below. Pressure starting to rise here. Giannis gets pushed in, drops down to low ground. Just letting the Storm Surge kind of do its thing here for now. But Casper doesn't stop. He eggs on solo here into the wall of Pixie and Giannis. We've seen what happened to duos before. It normally doesn't end well. Malabuka and Mustache also lurking nearby, hearing what's happening here.
And again, you can technically out-sustain the damage that's dealt, but 25 a tick, not to mention the other teams taking notes, shooting at you as well. Shield cracked has gone out. That might be the go sign here for Giannis and Pixie. They recognize the fact, though, this duo looking a little bit too desperate for him. Mustache Malabuka instead gonna strike from behind. Casper, Prism, they were so fixated on Giannis and Pixie, they had no idea the real threat that awaited directly behind them.
Yeah, now Mustache and Malabuka have nothing to worry about. They have so much damage. The refresh is there. They're going to be fully focused in on likely getting to the new line of the storm here shortly. And they saw, like, you know, this team was fighting another team, so clearly they're very much aware. But wait a second, Pixie knocks on the wrong door. This is a full duo. Little did he know, he was likely thinking this is what was left of the other team that was just there, and Giannis falls for being out of position now. Mustache and Malabuka really racking up the eliminations this game.
Devious work there by Mustache and Malabuka, though. The way that they were able to separate Giannis and Pixie in that moment. Keep in mind, Pixie definitely still trying to do what he can, but yeah, that is just some very tactical play coming out of Malabuka and Mustache. Their chemistry definitely aligned. Pixie still trying to do what he can, but Malabuka and Mustache, they know it's a solo hidden somewhere amongst the rubble of these pre-existing builds. Pixie trying to hope that he can maintain a little bit better position, but he's just getting shredded. The builds are not going to withstand all the shots coming in. Malabuka and Mustache with yet another elimination. 807 damage above as well. They can take their sweet time now on the rotates.
And you see it from Mustache's perspective onto Casper. Say, huge shot there in the replay. Very well executed. Well, that's going to set themselves up for success. They have nothing to worry about other than get to storm now.
No clue.
Ravino and Clicks, a little bit of a different story here. Still a successful game nonetheless. 2 elims, plenty of material to work with, especially in Clix's reservoir here. However, the damage will start to become a problem soon, but talk about problems here. Kanata's got a big one. He's got XX Trashy on the other side of the wall, and no teammate. Cooper, who is the returning champion from last year, paired up with Kanata right now, is now found himself watching Kanata having to root from the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, the ship at station has just been fully skeletonized at this point. All the walls practically torn down. Other player builds replacing them, but Kanata has done a decent job, at least at forcing Trashy back. And in fact, Trashy so low, Kanata not going to be able to get the outright elimination just yet, but he's hunting it down. Trashy just hoping that he can buy himself a little bit more time, and Kanata's got to be careful, because Queasy and Thomas, they're also nearby.
We already know Queasy and Thomas have the confidence coming off that last game. Big rotate coming out on the other side, though. It's Agers and Rise who are on the move right now. Rise going to be the first to fall in this exchange here to the hands of Bolt. It seems Bolt and Bryce to get the elimination credit here. And Bolt and Bryce are holding on just barely. And Bryce willing to stay in the storm. He needs these materials, trying to pick up what he can here to go in and get himself a foundation to work with. And this is a congested side of the storm. Look at how many teams, how many players are sitting around this general area.
This is a lot of our northeast-based teams as well. And Bryce, at least with that refresh on the material count, he's going to be able to at least dictate which direction he wants to head next. Might be able to protect himself on the disengage as well. Agers, though, might not find himself in a similar fashion. Still, the armored wall will...
I had to hide my screen real quick.
will at least prompt a forcible disengage for the time being. Everyone recognizing the fact they've got to scale over this hillside as they approach the raft.
Well, time to make a decision. Agers goes for the fight. And now he's in the storm, but a tag is going to set him off here. The clock is ticking here. Just a couple moments left, and he jumps onto Muzz and Epic Whale. Tries to go for the axe through the wall, but instead delivers the loot to the hands of Muzz and Epic Whale, who really needed that, but the storm ends up doing the rest there on this back edge. Hey,
y'all watch this? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick.
One problem after another now since match 1 for Epic Whale and Muzz here. It's going to be difficult to ask Epic to do much more at this point, given the situation.
Epic just hoping that he can survive, but that dream is shut down instantaneously. Just down from a distance, and not much left to do except sit and wait for match number 4 to begin. Trulex, on the other hand, though, no Chicho again. Some of our teams that are just trying to lead, unfortunately finding themselves in these compromised positions. If Trulex goes down now, MDF, that's going to be a heavy hit to placement points.
Yeah, definitely will set them back, given that they set themselves up with such a strong position now after that first game. Obviously coming in with a little bit of a lead, but how long can that lead last when you have people like Peterbot and Boyo putting sights on you? And looking at that update there, Cold and Acorn are down. Yuma and Rise are also down. This match 3, almost a defining moment for some teams here that had a real chance to break away, but as all things balance here, it's almost like we're brought down to reality. So Trulex, really the only player now in the lobby that has a 30-point gap, but for how much longer?
He's just trying to stay as concealed as possible and hopefully connect.
An elimination, really?
Yet again, Dukes now forced to play this one out as a solo. His box gonna get collapsed upon. Pico, though, loses Quixie. Another one of our teams in the top 5 wiped out.
That is actually going to be very, very important for everyone who's on the bubble now, looking to jump up into that top 5 spot. And even better for the likes of Peterbot and Pollo, who are very much there. Thomas, HD, and Queasy, who have been running their way up the standings here. Look at this late rotate, allowing them to have this much visual. Not even needing to build walls on the side is a sign of confidence on its own.
Look at this Thomas now. He was just taking shots at the lobby leader. He's still got his sights set onto True Legs. Might have even identified him as a solo, but they're going to find themselves chopped. Malabuka, Merstash now trying to make their approach towards Queasy and Thomas. Meanwhile, Peterbot, Pollo, they're currently sitting inside of top 3, third place to be specific, and they're going to instantaneously take over the hill. Prime position, also catching shots, tags, connecting onto Queasy. But the hill height is the real W here.
Well, I hate to call it early, but it is not looking good for the lobby if you're rooting against Peterbot and Pollo right now, as they have got themselves the natural elevation, the material count, and the base already set up. Meanwhile, Queasy finds himself in a bad rotate there, taken down. No elims earned this game. No chance that Thomas can survive there if he doesn't fight his way up. He doesn't even have mats here, the shield bubble, the saving grace, but also the flare to the lobby. Hey, I'm over here.
There's only so much that Thomas can do from this current position. And first, he's got to break through Yapko and Swizzy, throws out the shield bubble. It's his last hope at this point, hoping that there isn't a duo underneath him, but unfortunately, he won't even get a chance to reconsider where he wants to go next. Peterbot and Pollo more than content to take the shutdown.
And they're the team up top, looking down on the rest of the lobby here. Other NA players still here, Reet and Ritual. But you have EU's Huddy on the front side with Kovacs there. Peterbot looking down, putting tags onto the roofs of these builds. Huddy and Kovacs have 7 eliminations, but very little material now. It's gonna get super scrappy down here. They're in that conversation of top 5 here, though, as they've managed to nearly fight their way into a top position now. But things are slowing down. Everyone really thinking about what the next move's gonna be, what's best for their situation here in the tournament. Merstash, Malabuka look up, they say no. Peterbot and Pollo are still there.
Huddy and Kovacs, they're actually gonna opt to play from inside Storm. Now they're gonna make their move, but they're so late on this rotate. Peterbot and Pollo are bound to catch wind of this. Immediately, the shots rain in. Kovacs trying to scurry around, but he won't escape. There's too much pressure. Peterbot too accurate as well. Another duo life getting flamed here in the mix. Merstash, Malabuka now caught wind of Reet. Unfortunately, front side of zone is not going to be controlled by Reet and Ritual much longer. Malabuka, Merstash here to play.
Yeah, and they did all that for a top 5, right? Look at how slow things have gone here, because everyone wants placement points. But the problem is now you're giving Peterbot and Pollo so much more time to decide about how they basically want to win this game here.
Ritual still trying to work his way through. He's crouching, he's breaking the builds, but Peterbot and Pollo MDF, I hate to call it early, but they are looking primed to take over here in match 3. Unless Merstash and Malabuka have something to say about it. Currently contesting Yapko and Swizzy. This could be a massive refresh for builds.
Swizzy and Yapko, 8 elims. What a monstrous game for them here. Top 3, breaking his way through the builds here. He still has a lot of gas in the tank here to work with, but Malabuka and Merstash put up such a strong defense there. A great tag onto Merstash to go in and set things up, but he steps in now. It's time to throw it all down. It's all or nothing. Right hand peek here for Merstash.